So guys, 25% of our subscribers are ladies. So in response to the recent video I did on dating Japanese girls, I got a whole heap of questions about what it's like to date Japanese guys, or what Japanese guys are like. I've never actually dated any, but I've spoken to lots of girls who have. So the first thing I want to say is there is some really good ones. There is some guys Japanese guys that are really good boyfriends and really good husbands. I know some, so some of them are really good. But the most common comments I hear from girls, Japanese girls and Western girls that have spent time with Japanese guys, well, they tend to be, the society is still very much that the guys are, I don't want to use the word superior, but the guys are superior to women is the way the society tends to work. So because of that, the guys tend to be fairly demanding and a little bit aloof, a little bit sort of distant and above the girls. So some of the examples I've heard of this are, you know, the girls will make some tasty food. It's a Japanese style thing. The girls will make some tasty food and give it to their boyfriend, and the boyfriend tastes it and then says, it's not sweet enough, or it's too sweet, or I was sitting at a set of traffic lights once recently and watched a guy and his girlfriend walk towards a restaurant, and it's quite common for the guys just to walk in front of the girls. And this stuff's all pretty acceptable for Japanese women because they just accept it. You know, it's like the guy's boss or the guy knows what he's about. So they don't see it as he's the boss, they see it that he knows what he's about. So, you know, he leads the way and they follow, and they're both comfortable with that. So recently I was sitting at some traffic lights and I watched the guy walk up to a door of the restaurant, push it open, walk through the door, and it closed. It was on a closer and it closed automatically right in front of his girlfriend, and she then had to push it open and walk in behind him. And that sort of stuff's really common here. You see that sort of thing all the time. So for a Western girl dating a Japanese guy, I think that's the sort of stuff that that she would find difficult, that she'd do stuff for him and he wouldn't appreciate it. And you know, the guys just do their thing. They sit down and they order their dinner, and the girl has to then say, and I'll have this. So the Japanese girls usually are pretty comfortable with it and used to it, but yeah, I think Western girl might find that sort of stuff a little bit difficult. The other thing is they tend to spend a lot of time doing stuff with their friends. I suppose it's not uncommon in lots of countries, but you know, I know a girl here told me once that she spends 2 hours a week with her boyfriend on a Saturday night, from 10 till 12 or something strange like that, because he's too busy. And quite often it's because they're too busy with work or study, but this guy was going to sports clubs twice a week with his friends and going out on Friday nights with his friends, and he had lots of time to do stuff with his male friends, but told her he only had 2 hours a week to spend with her. So that sort of stuff's really common. The guys here, I don't know, they don't seem that interested in spending time with girls very much. So I think that's another thing a girl from another country might find difficult. If she's dating a Japanese guy, she might not see a lot of him. Other than that, I mean, a lot of this stuff isn't just for the girls and, you know, for girls dating Japanese guys. A lot of this is for foreigners dating Japanese people in general. Is the culture's really different. There's a lot of stuff about the culture that's really different, and I know in a lot of societies that couples are really close and spend a lot of time with each other, and they're sort of like a team. They're sort of like a team, and they do lots of stuff together, and that's sort of normal. But here it's sort of, they consider that sort of weird. You know, you'll ask a couple here what they did on the weekend, and the guy says that he went fishing with his friends, and the girl says she went shopping with her friends, and that'll be every week. I know a couple like that. Every weekend he does stuff with his friends and she does stuff with her friends. So they sort of see that it's not, the way they see it is it's not cool. If you've got a girlfriend and boyfriend that spend all their time together, spend a lot of time together and are very affectionate towards each other, they sort of see that as being a bit desperate. that they're not very cool if they're like that. And it's the same as there's no showing of affection here. So, you know, you don't sit there in a restaurant with your friends and sitting beside your girlfriend or your boyfriend and hold their hand or put your arms around them or stuff like that. And they don't walk down the street holding hands usually. I mean, occasionally you see it, but there's no displaying affection here in public. Is sort of like they see it that you're desperate, that you can't believe that you've actually got a boyfriend, or you can't believe you've actually got a girlfriend. That's why you're giving them so much affection. So they don't see that as cool. So for foreigners that can be difficult as well, feeling like they're getting neglected by their partner when they're out places. So it's really complex. I mean, to be honest, I mean, you know, I've got a fiance and we're really happy and we're going to get married, but there's very few couples, mixed couples that I know, you know, foreigners and Japanese people, guys and girls or girls and guys, that I know that are actually happy. It's really difficult. It's mainly because of the cultural difference. Stuff that we think's normal, they think's weird. Stuff that we think's weird, they think is normal. So the cultural difference is huge. So to be honest, the advice I always give anybody that asks me is don't do it, basically. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's just because the cultural difference is so big. And if you do manage to have a successful relationship and you do want to be with them forever, like I said on the girls video, on the dating girls video, one of you has to give up your country. You've got to give up your country and your family and your culture, and one of you has to, and one of you has to live in another culture in another country and never see your family, unless you've got loads of money and you can afford to fly backwards and forwards between countries every now and again, which isn't really practical. So yeah, I would strongly recommend avoiding it, basically. If you do spend time in Japan, make friends and you know, spend time with friends and enjoy that. But you know, I definitely wouldn't come here looking for a partner. And you know, and if you do meet someone here you really like, just take it slow, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation here that's unwinnable, which happens. I mean, people do fall for people here and then ask them to go back and live in their country, and they go back and live with them for 6 months, and then it breaks down, or well, they try and live here, and living here is hard. You know, lots of people come here to spend a year here and last 3 months and go home. So it's complicated. It's complicated. Even if you meet a wonderful person, you've still got to overcome the cultural hurdles and everything else, which are huge. I mean, we could make hour-long videos every day on this subject. It's really complex. So yeah, it's not movie style, and it's not like in an anime. It's really complex. So anyway, interesting subject, but it's also on the website forum. We've started talking about relationships on the website forum, so I'd be interested, anybody's got any questions, but also anyone that's got any experience firsthand of this, we can get some other opinions rather than just mine. So see you on the website forum, I guess.